Seems like players are getting the final warm-ups in. We have Wormy, Abelsini, Entelek, Capo, and Arkis on the server. And I think we're fine. We are skipping to the next map, and this is going to be a random map order once again. Division 3, starting up with everyone's favorite Konna, which probably claimed more victims than any other map in terms of DNFs and crashes and whatever else unfortunate events in Division 2. So we'll see if Division 3 are able to avoid those things. Definitely not an easy map to play. A very, very punishing map in more ways than one. Of course, you have these slide outs that can happen at the end, but you also have the bobsleighs that snowball speed so much. Then you have the icy wheel drift. After this second bobsleigh here, not an easy one at all. Definitely not. Entelek seeming to do a pretty solid job in the warm-up. Getting into the finish with a 44.7. Now we did see some 43s even in Division 2. It's going to be interesting to see if we can maybe get close to that 44, 43 barrier. So let's wish good luck and have fun to all of our Division 3 players. And we are live into the first round. 4 maps and 5 rounds per map to go. Entelek seeming to get pretty good speed out of the first bobsleigh, and this will snowball as well. Now fighting against Wormy for that first place, but anything can happen, of course. Arkis also with a pretty good run so far, but it seems like Entelek might be taking the lead here. Abelsini has made a big mistake. Capo, Arkis and Wormy all still there. So we see a final ice slide here. Capo going very wide, might hit the sign, and he will. So that's going to be a rough ending. But actually there was a bigger mistake, I think, by Wormy, and Wormy will have to be content with that 4th place as a result. Entelek will actually get that 44 flat, just as we mentioned that we were getting very close to that barrier on Division 2 as well. So Entelek starting off strong with a first round win there. The first bobsleigh already decides so much. So much speed to be gained from there. But it's not over until the very final turn. Wormy again on a good run. Let's see if he can maybe get a better ending this time. Entelek once again right behind. Like Arkis might be able to clutch this one out, taking a tight dirt slide, and will be actually able to clutch that out. Wormy very close there. It seems like everyone else has made some kind of a mistake there. Entelek will have to take the 3rd place with a 45 flat. This final turn can decide so much. There's so much time to be gained there. So it's never over until the players cross the finish line. This time it might be for Entelek though, before even the first bobsleigh, because Entelek has made a major mistake and this speed will not work in his favor. Already about 2 seconds behind, and even more. Will be pretty happy if he finishes. Wormy also makes a big mistake, so we are 2 players down now. 2 of the faster players down on the first few rounds, so this is the chance for the others to get some good points. It's very close here. Capo going for a pretty ambitious ice slide, but I'm not sure if this is going to work out. Very wide slide. Someone slides out. What is going on? Arkis was on such a good pace, but everyone overtakes at the end because of the slide out on the dirt. And this is what I mean. It's not over until you cross the finish line. It's nuts. You cannot you cannot even blink before your time is on the leaderboard, because this can always happen, and it's such a brutal map to play. And keeping your mental focus there as well after a round like that is not easy whatsoever, but you just have to push through. You have to keep in mind, every round is a new round. New round, new me. Kabo has made a big mistake on this one. Intellect also a little bit behind. Ark is now looking to redeem the previous round. We shall see if that happens. Going so close to the signs. This is a very tight line. Let's see if Arcus can do it. And he will. That is a nice +8 after that unfortunate previous round. Intellect will be taking the second place there, so Arcus actually will be 2 points ahead on the second last round. We have Vormian, Capo, and Abelsini there in third, fourth, and fifth, respectively. Final round of Konna. Intellect now on a good pace. Would be a nice little treat for him to get that leading position before the second map, and looking pretty strong. Looking pretty strong here, but Wormy is pretty close. Let's see the final slide. Oh no! No! It's a disaster, but somehow still there's one player behind. Abelsini has made a more disastrous mistake and has to take that +2 from the final round. Intellect slides out on the final ice slide. And that's if we're talking about wanting to keep your mental focus in there. Wanting to stay in a good headspace. That is definitely not the best way to make sure that happens. But good news for the players that did slide out from those final turns is that we're no longer on the map. We're switching on to the next one, and this one is called Irempi kuin Kevit, and it's by Ose on 92. Fantastic map, this one as well. Like we saw on the previous map, division, excuse me. This map not easy either though. The ending can be pretty brutal. We see Wormy here gets into it, going for a very tight line. Can't really go for the speed drift there. That is possible, but very difficult. And anything can happen at the very end as well. We shall see how the players do. We are live on the first round of Irempi kuin Kevit. And we'll see if situation changes. Ark is currently leading with 30 points, Intellect with 25, and Wormy with 24 points. Kaba and Abelsini there with 20 and 16 points as well. Still, definitely anything can happen. Only the second map. We have 15 rounds left to complete. Wormy looking pretty strong on this one. I think Intellect also had a very nice time, but what happened to Wormy? Oh no! That is not good at all. I think the line was not good. And Wormy did see that and just immediately respawned. Immediate respawn. And that's just how quickly these changes can happen during these rounds. One slight mistake in your line and you're gone. Suddenly you have to say bye-bye to the 8 points. And just try to focus on the next round instead. But that's what the players are able to do, have been able to do the whole day, so I wouldn't expect Wouldn't expect like a downward spiral here necessarily. Intellect and Wormy looking very good at this map. Who gets the better end? Wormy going... Looks like he wanted to maybe get the slightest lead there. I'm not completely sure, but not going to be enough to overtake anyone. Appelsini actually getting the second place there. Intellect with a 49.9. Taking the first place, and actually a pretty tight fight for the final spots as well. We still have Enzelek. Or actually, not still. Enzelek, I believe, just took the lead from Arkis, so we do have some changes here in the leaderboard. Oh, there's a crash as well. That is unfortunate from Capo. Not quite getting a good run going just yet on this map. But these three players are fighting. Ark is now very close to Entelek. And Wormy is there close as well. Entelek actually having more speed, and this will be an interesting fight. But it seems like Entelek will be able to clutch that out. Ark is right behind. But that's going to be Entelek's superior speed at the end that decides that round. Wormy still getting a nice 6 points at the end there, so that is definitely not a bad result. Second place consistently is still a lot of points, so it's not too bad. Of course, those extra 2 points would be nice, but I think after the unfortunate crashes, we'll be probably content with runs like this. Entelek though, looking very good at this map. And still holding on to the first place on this round as well. We'll see if that holds up. Wormy has always lost a little bit of speed here, and this run will not be an exception. Appelsini and Arkis both overtaking Entelek, bouncing into the finish. I think he can be pretty happy that he got into the final finish line there. Capo trying to get a run in, but not able to do so. Not having enough time, and that's another DNF there, as we see. Unfortunate. I think the end seems to follow a pattern here. Wormy somehow always loses a little bit of speed compared to everyone else there. I don't think anyone is really going for the SD though, so I think it's something else that's happening there. That seems to be pretty decisive at the end. Entelek has made a slight mistake, maybe lost a gear there. Not completely sure what happened, but the round is super close so far. All of the 5 players right next to each other. Now we'll see if Wormy can finally keep the pace up in the final turn, or if the others are going to overtake again. It's Entelek with more speed. Once again, can Wormy hold on into it? It's going to be close. 1,000 of a second. Wormy can't catch a break. It's a 1,000 of a second difference on the finish line. Entelek takes the +8 points. And if you are Wormy right now after that map, I feel like you have to kind of start feeling that these final turns, final moments on the map, they might kind of get to you. I don't know if that's the case, but if I think of myself personally, I might start getting a little bit frustrated. We're hoping that he doesn't, but I would not blame him if he does. Playing so well and still getting sniped at the end on those rounds, that is so rough. But we are on to the next map. And It's a new map, new rounds, new points to get. So not necessarily something that needs to affect your performance on this map. End of the warm-up. We're jumping in. Entelak currently in the lead with 65 points. Arkis second place with 53 points. Wormy there with 45, and Abelsini and Capo with 34 and 31 points respectively. And this map, third map, Hallucinatio by Wraith. Fantastic map. We'll see if we have the early gear strats here. It seems like most players are avoiding the gear. And instead choosing to do that Abelsini with a slight touch there. Capo has also made a mistake. Entelak currently fighting against Wormy again. And we'll see if Wormy can finally clutch these really good starts and get the first place. But Arkis is right there. Wormy finally with more speed than the others and should have the first place. And an excellent time as well with a 47.3. Getting a nice run in. And that is a deserved plus 8 points thanks to that performance. We'll see. I do know that Entelak is a fan of these grass tech maps though. These technical maps with grass and dirt. What a line, but accidentally takes the gear, and I think that might be a little bit detrimental. Loses a little bit of speed there. I think he would have preferred to not gear up during that turn. But still holding on to at least top 2 position. Abelsini there in top 1. Wormy climbing though. Looking like he might still steal this. Maybe it's time for the snipe to go the other way, but Entelak seems to be holding on to this. Wormy will barely get the second place in front of Abelsini. Capo again seems like has made a mistake. Can he finish? Or is it going to be another DNF? So close, but no. Capo has to take another DNF, unfortunately. And Entelak just growing the lead. Good news for Wormy though is that he is holding on to the podium place, and even more important is that he's climbing further ahead. Capo actually going for the early gear here. That might be a strategy that separates these players, but it should even out about here. I'm not completely sure which way is faster still, because we have players going for both strategies. So it's hard to say which strategy is the better one, at least for my skill level. Maybe I need to hire an analyst for the next week to figure these things out. Entelak going for a great line. Wormy, I think, has more speed, but I don't think it's enough to overtake. Entelak once again with a plus 8. A very good consistency. Hitting 87 points right now. And we have some movement. In the other rankings as well. Wormy has taken second place ahead of Arkis, and will now try to hold on to it. Arkis currently leading this round, but has much less speed. But here's the late gear strat, or avoiding the gear at all strat, actually. We've kind of seen all kinds of things in this turn. This seems to be a very sort of divisive turn. Players take them in different ways, but seems like it almost always kind of evens out towards the middle part. Now to the end though, Entelak on third place currently. Can he get a good end? Arkis clips, and Wormy looks like he's going to continue the climb towards the top placements. 47.29, a good time there from Wormy. Arkis will have to take the third place, and sorry, fourth place actually, because of the clip, and now 7 points behind Wormy as well. 20 points separating Wormy and Entelak. So we're still looking at the top fight. Only takes 1 or 2 rounds to really shake things up, so One crash might change everything. Not even a crash, but just a super close round where something unfortunate happens. One player. For me. Again, holding on to the lead. This time 3 players behind, but it seems like Wormy again able to keep that lead. Intellect once again sniping second place though with 4,000 of a second. And that is a really, really nice way to keep that lead. 99 points now. What a great performance from Intellect on that map, and even if you're not the best on this map, which Persky might be one of the hardest maps, honestly, even if you're not the best on this map, maybe you're safe. But then again, look who's the mapper. And look who's playing. It's Wormy. That's the player on the server and the person who created the map. The 6th player, of course, unfortunately did not participate in the division. Probably wasn't able to do some other things. I don't know much more about it, but there is a 6th player in the division as well, just wasn't able to participate this week. So we enter a very interesting map now. Warm-up has been concluded, and we'll see. 18 points. I'm having bit of trouble counting numbers up to 20. So it's going to be very interesting to see Intellect's performance. Now you might think that I would say Wormy's performance, but no. I think Intellect's performance is more important. Wormy, for sure, I would expect to be pretty comfortable on his own map. That doesn't mean that, there can't be crashes or mistakes or whatever, but I think Intellect's performance here matters more. How consistent can this guy be on this map? Because if Intellect keeps up and doesn't make mistakes like this, he might still be able to hold on to the first place. If he gets like 3rd place finishes, 2nd place finishes, it seems like Wormy will be taking the first round in. Intellect will be able to take 3rd place, so it's not the worst result for him, but it's a 4-point climb. 4 points out of 18 in Wormy's name now. Only 14 points left. I think Arkis might be a little bit too far, especially if Wormy continues playing this consistently. So it's all in Intellect's hands. Well, it's also in Wormy's hands, who's currently in 4th place. But still contesting that top 1 spot for sure. Intellect and Wormy so close to each other. It's really an intense fight between the players. Intellect, he knows the path to victory. He knows how to win this. Division 3 match, but executing the mechanical things needed for that to happen is a completely different thing. Intellect now, oh, he might have to concede 3rd place as well, and that is another 3-point difference. Arkis actually gets a pretty nice run here, 47.1. I feel bad for not talking about that performance that much, but it seems like the battle is happening between the top 1 and top 2 right now. Intellect has to concede 3 more points, only has 11 left. We still have 3 more rounds on this map. Just has to hold on to those points. Arkis now again taking first place. Maybe Arkis even with some mistakes from Warming, which the start might be a little bit slow here. Maybe Arkis can even come back into this. Clutch the second place. It is definitely possible to do so. Warming going so close to the wall, but still holding on. Entelek has to drop the position to Warming once again. And now we watch the end with interest. Seems like Arkis and Capo. Oh, Warming crashes, and that's going to be Entelek's ticket to victory there. Only 2 rounds left, plus 4 points in Entelek's name. And now we're getting to an interesting area as well, because suddenly Arkis is getting closer to Warming. So maybe we can have a chance here for even Arkis taking second place. If these really good paces continue from Arkis, it is definitely possible. 2 rounds left here. I think Entelek can feel pretty safe. It's a 12-point difference. Anything can still happen, but Entelek just needs to stay composed. Just get decent placements. This one round could already seal the deal for Entelek. Could already secure the win. Currently in 4th place, getting closer to the end. Wormy is fighting here, trying to get that first place. If not fighting for first place anymore, which I think he still might be, Entelek will take actually 4th place, 300 behind 3rd place, so this is still a 5-point difference. It might get interesting here. It is a 7-point difference. Okay. Entelek needs to finish the round. It's the last round. Entelek doesn't need to care about anything. He can smash onto walls. He can do whatever he wants. He just needs to finish this round. Just needs to not DNF. Cross the finish line. That's all he needs to do, and it seems like he's focused on that one. Just go safe. And just get that bread. But Wormy still will try. With the hopes that Entelek maybe makes some absolutely disastrous mistake. I don't think it's going to happen because Entelek knows the path to victory here. Pretty sure he's done the math. But Wormy will still finish with style. That's a very solid time. 57.3 takes the 3rd place, but that's not going to shake up the leaderboard any further. Entelek will take 4th place, which means that he will win Division 3 match with 2 points compared to Wormy. So, very, very nicely done from Entelek. Wormy 2nd place, Arkis 3rd place, Capo and Appelsini taking 4th and 5th place in Division 3. And that is going to be our Finnish TrackMania League day number 1.